Um, okay, guys, we'll start since it's 3 o'clock. As usual, the usual first two questions will be can you hear me and can you see my screen? Okay, then. Once again, welcome you all to week 10 session of this course Research Methodology in Natural Sciences. And my name is Arjun, and I'm a second year PhD scholar in Indian Institute of Science. So, um, so we have been through 9 weeks of this course material so far, and this is the week 10. And in this week, we'll be transitioning from a more mathematical perspective to a more theoretical and application based perspective. So, as usual, this session will have a short recap of what lectures we had in the last week. And then, following a doubt session, we will discuss the assignment answers for this week's questions. So I'll get started right away. So in the last week we saw about theoretical research and what about what comes out of theoretical research. We saw that the four main aspects of theoretical research: building a hypothesis and then working out experimentally testable predictions, as well as checking consistencies and developing a mathematical model of any physical phenomena, which will be the final product of it. And in this week, we started with an example of mathematical model by discussing about this Lotka-Volterra model. Lotka-Volterra model simply highlights the predator-prey dynamics in any given population. So, if we have a certain number of predator and certain number of prey in a given ecosystem, how does how do they oscillate with respect to each other? But depending on the predator-prey dynamics, how they interact with each other and how they face each other and how they consume each other, how do the population of predators and prey oscillate? That is what this Lotka-Volterra model discusses about. And initially, it starts with the idealistic situation where there is infinite resources or infinite amount of food for both the predator and prey. So the competition exists only between the predator as well as the prey. So the Lotka-Volterra equation in this case, in an ideal case, starts with a set of differential equations highlighting the change in population of prey and predator. And once we start solving this prey and predator dynamics, we get a sort of a oscillatory pattern between the predator and prey population. But we also come to know that this is not always the case. In a more realistic scenario, there is a finite source of food, and in that case, the more realistic case, we come to know that the ideal oscillatory condition does not stand true in all the cases. So, but this Lotka-Volterra equations give us a header or in short introduction into how mathematical models generally work. And from the examples of mathematical models, we later saw how functional relationships are obtained from experimental data and how theories are built. We saw later that how theories, like it was sort of a conclusion for previous 4 5 weeks, what we saw in the previous 4 5 weeks. So ultimately, we came to a conclusion or a conclusion based recap that um, whatever theories we are building, it should be for the things that we have not already seen, and it should be based on whatever things we have already observed or whatever we have measured so far. And from the development of theories and developing functional relationships from experimental data, we saw about one more aspect, which is the applications of whatever scientific research we are doing. So one we saw that one main aspect of performing scientific research is also is to communicate it to certain people. The people may be having a certain specific scientific background which is comparable to us, or they may also be having a different scientific background. And depending on whatever scientific background we have, the way we communicate whatever science we have, whatever findings or whatever measurements we have, differ from time to time. So in the current system, the major method of scientific communication exists through scientific journals. And when you submit your scientific uh, findings in a scientific journal, and it goes through something called as a peer review process through a structural hierarchy called as a editorial board. So every journal has a organization called an editorial board, which consists of, and say, editor in chief, associate editor, and then peer reviewers, and so on and so forth. Some middlemen, some not middlemen, and so on and so forth. So this set of people come together to read your article, to study your article, and then say if your scientific research is commendable enough. And then they also give, through the peer review process, they suggest you changes to modify your research, to modify your communication of research in such a way that it reaches out to the correct set of audience in the most right way possible. And this is a this is a major overview of all the processes that happen in a scientific peer review. So basically, when you submit, it goes through a editorial decision whether your paper is, fit into the journal or not. And if it fits, it goes through this peer review process where they uh, where your article or where your scientific findings go through a major review process or a minor review process. Minor reviews mostly involve formatting errors and all those small additions and deletions, whereas major reviews mostly involve suggestions of performing certain kinds of new experiments, which will help you, or which will help the scientific community to understand your topic better. And after you do all the major and minor revisions, the editorial board will make a decision whether to accept the paper or to reject the paper or to publish the paper in whatever form possible. And in the process, you go through a lot of other aspects such as visiting labs, visiting your peer reviewers, discussing with them, attending events, and keeping up with the scientific literature, and etc. etc. So this is the overview of the process which happens while you are submitting the paper. But there are also some things which you need to keep in mind before writing a paper or submitting a paper to a certain journal. And what would be the major characteristics there is, what info do I wish to want to convey? What kind of info am I performing my experiments on? And what message do I want to give to the scientific community? What specific group am I writing it for? Am I writing the paper for the mathematicians or biologists or engineers or whatever group or subgroup? That should be clear when you are writing the paper. So based on that, if you write your paper, your content will reach the right audience. What background do I expect the reader to have, and what is the most logical sequence of presentation? What will be the precise order in which I would be writing my scientific content, such that people find it easy to skim through my paper and then find relevant information according to their will. And here there is a general anatomy of a scientific paper, which contains the general contents of a scientific paper. Basically, your scientific paper will have a title, and then following the title, it will have the author names, whoever has written the author, and then it will have a short abstract. An abstract should be like 250 words, highlighting the essence of the article. You should not cite any other paper or give any inside information into the article. Basically, it should highlight the article by not accessing any part of the article itself or any other article. And after that, you will have the body of the paper, which involves the introduction, the method section, and the results section. And after that, we have the references section or the acknowledgements and references section, where you cite other articles from which you have got relevant information for your study. And apart from the text present in the scientific paper, we also saw that figures also constitute a major part of a scientific paper, and we should try to include figures wherever possible, because figures help us understand the paper more than text do. So this will be a ideal way to represent the figure. So basically, the figure must have some sort of a title, and then it must be having an x-axis and a y-axis, and the x-axis must have the proper label for whatever quantity we are measuring, and then it should have the units in brackets. And for the figure, we should have an appropriate caption saying what does the figure indicate, and what are all the values, and what are all the legends we are dealing with, and what are all the sub figures that will be there in the figure. So this is a general recap of whatever happened in week 10. I know that's a very short week, and but comparable to week 8 and week 9, it was a very simple, I would say, very simple lecture series or a week series. So I'll open the room for another 5 minutes till 3:15, and then we can go on to discuss the assignment answers. If you have any doubts, you can also put it in the chat box. If you are a bit, if your connection is poor, you can also type your doubts in the chat box. Okay, and so I mean we always have a doubt session at the end of the assignment discussion session as well. So we will jump on to the assignment discussion answers. Yeah, we'll start. So, question number one, suppose you have written a research paper and are considering the following alternative titles. Which one meets all the desirable criteria? It's a MCQ question, so only one option is correct. So, they have given four alternative titles. So, out of that, we have to choose any one option. So, Nikhil Sapre says D, the effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of the 40 to 60 age group. Yeah, it's correct. So the correct option is the effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of the 40 to 60 age group, option D. So before going to the next question, we will also discuss why the other options are also not correct. So the title of your journal, right? Title of your research paper which you are submitting to the journal should be crisp and concise. And by meaning crisp and concise, it should mean that you should not be adding extra words which do not convey, which do not add any content to the meaning of the title. So words such as studies on the, or which appears in this, studies on the, or a short study on, those kind of words we need to avoid, because those kind of words do not add any additional meaning to your title. So options A and C, which have studies on, which start with studies on the, they're automatically invalid. And then we have to look at the remaining options, which starts with the effect of. So both, if you see option B and D, both the options have the same wordings. The effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of the 40 to 60 age group. But one difference that you observe between options B and D is that the prepositions of, on, off, again the, so all these prepositions are capitalized. So one important rule in the title, framing a title, is that whatever prepositions which are less than three words should be small lettered. So it start with a small letter. So if you are having articles such as the, or prepositions such as of, on, it should be in small letter and it should not start with a capital letter. Other words such as age and group, they have more than three letters, so they can be in capital letters. Remdesivir is a proper noun, so it can have a capital letter. The effect of, the effect is a six-letter word, so it can have start with a capital letter. COVID-19 is a proper noun, so that also is a, can be entirely capitalized. So option D, the effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of the 40 to 60 age group. Nikhil, D versus D. I don't get. Oh yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah, yeah. I had typed it some time back. Yeah. So the reason that D should be small. That is how I look at it. D.
yeah. So unless or until your article or the preposition starts at the beginning of the sentence, unless your sentence starts with an article, you can have D as capital D. Otherwise, it should be small. Yeah. So I hope no one has any doubts in this question. We will go again all the answers once again. Once we finish all the 10 questions as well. So, question number two, is the following abstract of a paper in proper form? What are the problems? It is a multiple select answer, and that means multiple answers are correct. The abstract says in previous years, it is okay. I might skip reading the abstract as well. So, it's a pretty short abstract, and the abstract has some equations, and then the abstract also has some references, and they finish the abstract saying finally we derive equation number 13 which quantifies the entangled state. So they have asked what is the problem with this, like is the abstract in proper form, what are the problems. So to start off with discussing the answer, that first of all the abstract is not proper, because we have already discussed through the lectures and through the recap that an abstract is should be short. It is short. It is of I think it will be less than 250 words only. But consider the other cases. So first of all, an abstract should contain only of wordings. It should not be directing to any other part in your main article. It should not be directing to any other part in your main article, or it should not be directing to any other article outside your research paper. So it can't have equation numbers in your article number or references citing papers outside your article. But if you see here, we have number one reference here and Gambini et al. Here and number two here, and then equation 13 here, which is inside your article. And then we have a whole lot of equation, mechanical equation here. So these are and all are references which, these are and all are this is not all a part of the article itself, either the article itself or it's part of any other outside article. So these should not be done in an abstract. So the abstract is too long is not a, it's a wrong option, because the abstract is indeed short, it's not that long, it is able to maintain its word limit. The abstract has a paragraph break. Yeah, it is consist of two paragraphs, but in reality your abstract should have only one paragraph. Since it is consisting only of 250 words, you need not break into multiple paragraphs. The abstract has displayed equation. Yes, that should not be done in an abstract. The abstract has references, which should not be done in an abstract. And then the abstract refers to an equation which appears in the body of the paper. Exactly. So all these options are correct. So except for the abstract is too long option, all the other options are correct, because those should not be done in any abstract. Sonu says C, D, B, but E is also a E is also a correct option, because an abstract refers to an equation which appears in the body of the paper. So they highlight to this equation. Finally, we derive equation 13. No one knows what equation 13 is unless you go into the article itself. So that should not be done in the article. That should not be done in the abstract. So E is also a correct option. Yes, except A, all are right options. Okay, if no one has any doubts, I'll go to the next question. The introduction section of a paper contains, it's a multiple select questions. So yeah, the introduction section of the paper, I mean the title itself suggests. So introduction. So it should have whatever problem you're trying to solve, whatever people have done in the past to support your problem statement, and then an outline of whatever you are going to do. So it will be problem statement, literature survey, and an outline of the methodology followed. Simulation results, it will come in the results part where you will be discussing all the results, and results with the graphs and tables, that will also be coming in the results. So no A, C and D. No, C and D simulation results and results with graphs and tables, those will come in the main results part. You will just be showing an outline of whatever you did and whatever you got. You won't be discussing the simulation results and results with graphs and tables in the introduction part. Yeah. So A, B, and E will be the correct options. Yeah. Nikhil and Sonu. Okay then. So if no one has any doubts with this, I'll move to the next question. Which of the following are acceptable formats of references? So it's a multiple select questions. So multiple options are correct. So we will go, if since multiple options are correct, we'll go over the options one by one and decide which ones are correct and which ones are not. So first one says E.N. Lawrence, deterministic non-periodic flow. So only the name and title are there. No other author, no other journal name, volume name, or issue name, or year. Nothing is there. So it's not a correct option. Name, title of the article, journal of the article, volume number, issue number, page number, and then year. So all the necessary details are there. So this is a valid way of representing a referencing a paper. So this is acceptable. Once again, name, title of the article in quotes, journal, and then volume number, issue number, page number, and then year number. So this is also valid. And then in the end, name, deterministic non-periodic flow, journal of the journal name, but in no volume name or issue name is given. So only page number is given. So we don't know which volume number of the journal that they are planning to put this into. No, so this can't be accepted. And in the final option, name, shortened form of the journal name. The article title cannot need not be necessary, and volume number, issue number, and year acceptable. So your B, C, and E options will be correct. Yeah, Sonali, Karthikeyan, Sonu, Nikhil, Sonu, Namrata, everyone are correct. So B, C, and E options B, C, and E are correct. So basically, you can, while referencing an article, you can put the title, and you can also choose to negate it, provided you have the name of the journal, volume number, issue number, and year of the page number or year of the article it was published. And nowadays there is a additional, since everything is available on the internet, every journal is available in the has a soft copy as well. Nowadays every journal has a DOI, digital object identifier. So uh, s- Nikhil Kessler, can we use double quotes and references? You can absolutely use. So sometimes what happens is, people get confused between the article name and the journal name. So in that case, what people do is they put double quotes around the article name. So double quotes are perfectly fine, but double quotes should not be around the entire reference. It should be around only the article name. I hope it's clear. Yeah. I don't know about whether single quotes can be used, but double people normally use double quotes. Some journals allow the use of double quotes and references. Single quotes, I am not sure of. Yeah, what I was saying was, nowadays since everything is available on the internet, every paper has a soft copy. You also have something called as a digital object identifier, or what you call as a DOI. So the DOI will have some set of numbers according to your journal name, and article number will have an unique DOI. Every article will have a unique DOI. So nowadays people prefer to also put the DOI if you are submitting a soft copy of a research article to any journal. So I'll move on to the next question. A vector graphic image is an MCQ. A drawing of vectors, no. A graph where vectors are drawn, no. An image format that does not become blocky upon enlargement, uh, probably. Image that is made of innumerable dots. So the correct answer would be an image format that does not become blocky upon enlargement. Yeah, correct. If there are no other uh, doubts for this question, I'll move to the next question. Raster graphic images. So a raster graphic image is generated by, it's a MSQ question. So it's generated by image processing programs like Paint, Photoshop, made up of tiny dots in four colors, stored in file formats like JPEG, BMP, PNG, etc. Image of a dusty raster. So correct options would be miss the first three options except for the image of a dusty raster. So any raster graphic image is something which is generated by MS Paint or Photoshop and is made of simple colors, and it can be stored in JPEG, BMP, and PNG, etc. Four colors are four colors are the primary colors. So RGB and
Hello.
black.
Hello.
Sorry, yeah, Dakshata.
Sir, question number 5. I missed it.
Question number, sorry.
Question number 5.
I'll come back to all the answers once again. Like once we finish all the answers, I'll come
Okay,
back
sir.
to. Yeah, so Nikhil, coming back to your question, so some people say it has four colors, which is RGB, the basic primary colors plus black. Some people say it has five colors, RGB plus black and white. Yeah. So one should try to build the moving on to the seventh question. One should try to build theories in science. It's an MCQ, so only one option is correct. So based only on what is observed, avoiding speculation on things that are not yet observed. Regarding observed things and phenomena as well as what are not yet observed, the only purpose of theory building should be to relate measurements. So out of these options, only option C would be correct. Regarding observe, so whatever theory you're building, it should be based on whatever you have observed already, and it should be about something which you are yet to observe. So this is just as we recalled in the recap of the lectures. So should be a combination of whatever we have observed so far and whatever we are expected to observe about some things. So if no one has any doubts, question number 8. The difference between a hyphen and a dash is that a hyphen is short and a dash is long. A dash is used when a long word is broken at the end of the line. And a hyphen is used only in titles and section headings, and a dash is used in the text. A hyphen is used to join two words, and a dash is used to join two sentence fragments. So out of this, the only two options are valid. A hyphen is short and a dash is long, and a hyphen is used to join two words, and a dash is used to join two sentence fragments. So whenever we are writing an article, and then if a word tries to go to the next line, we use a dash so that the word can continue into the next sentence as well. Hyphen is uh, used to usually join two different words. A and Karthikeyan and Namrata, A and D are correct. Yeah. So I'll move to the next question. Which of the following graphs has access labels suitable for publication? So here we have four different graphs. So out of this, so one graph has only x and t. We do not know what x is, what t is, what units are those. So this graph will not be valid. Second graph, we have x and the units of it. We have t and the units of it, but we still don't know what x and t mean. X and t can mean anything. And here we have option 3, position and its unit, and time and its unit, but the unit should always be in brackets. Vijay, 8 is A and D, right? Yeah, it is A and D. Yeah. The third option, position they have mentioned position units, time and units, but the unit should be in brackets. So this also is not valid. And in the final option, we have position, the label of the position, and then units in brackets. Time, the unit of the label of time, and then the units in brackets. So this will be the ideal way which you will be making a graph for publication. So this will be the correct option. So I hope no one has any doubts with it. So I'll move on to the next last question in respect of this thing. The conclusion section of a paper can contain, it's an MCQ question, an acknowledgement of funding support, summary of critical results, a reiteration of the points raised in the introduction, references to cited articles. So it's only one option is correct. So it will be B, a summary of critical results. So whatever in methods and discussion, whatever you have mentioned, those you should highlight and then you should mention in the conclusion. And you should a conclusion should always have a graceful ending. It should not have an abrupt ending to an article. So no is correct. Your B. So that's it. That's all I guess. I'll go again to all the questions and I'll reiterate the answers. So question one. So it deals about the title of the articles. The correct option is D. The effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of the 40 to 60 age group. A title should always have articles and prepositions in the small lettered articles and prepositions, unless or until it has three or more letters and it has proper nouns. So option D is the correct. Question number 2, they are asking if the abstract is in proper form. It is not in a proper form. The problems are it has a paragraph break, it has displayed an equation, it has references, and it refers to a equation which appears in the body of the paper. Varsha, I am coming to question number 9. I'm just going over all the questions one by one. Question number 3, introduction section of a paper contains the problem statement, literature survey, and the outline of the methodology followed. Question number 4, which of the following are acceptable formats or references? So generally you will have the author name, the article name is like not compulsory, but it is recommended. The journal name is compulsory, volume number, issue number, and then page number, and then the year number. So options B, C, and E are correct. And question number 5, a vector graphic image is the image format that does not become blocky upon enlargement. Yeah. Question number 5, option C is the correct option. Vinita, yeah, you can go ahead. Vinita, you have any doubts or something? It's okay. Like if you can't open your mic, you can also like um, question number 2. Except option A, all the options are correct. Yeah. So fifth question is an image format that does not become blocky upon enlargement. Uh, Sixth question, raster graphic images. Uh, Three options except option D, all the other options are correct. Generated by image processing programs like Paint, Photoshop, made up of four tiny dots in four colors, stored in file formats like JPG, BMP, or PNG. Uh, Seventh question, one should try to rebuild theories in science regarding observed things and phenomena as well as what are not yet observed. So, option number C. Vinita will come back to question number 3 afterwards. Wait. Question number 8. The difference between a hyphen and a dash is that two options are valid. So, a hyphen is short and a dash is long. Option A. And a hyphen is used to join two words and a dash is used to join two sentence fragments. So, option number A and D. Question number 9, which of the following graphs has axis labels suitable for publication? So out of this, option C, which has the name of the axis, the label, as well as the units in brackets, that's the correct option. So option number 3. And in the last question, the conclusion section of a paper can contain a summary of critical quizzes. Option number B. And for Vinita, the introduction section deals about problem statement, literature survey, and outline of the methodology followed. Options A, B, and E. Yeah. So that's all content I have for this week. So we can have a doubt session till 3:45. And I know it's a very short session, but it's just sort of an introduction into scientific writing, which is I think laid out in a pretty simple manner. So if you guys have any other doubts, we can have the session open till 3:45. Else we can end this session right away. The next session will be. I also wanted to ask one more question. Like, I want to know when is your exam for the this course? Can someone reply when is the final exam for this course?
April 27th.
April 27th. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So Sonali is asking if you want to write DOI in references, what is the correct format? So DOI has two different formats. One is the link, one is the hyperlink, and one is the direct numerical reference. So either one of them is acceptable. So depending on whatever, so what kind of what is being done these days is generally these references are added in articles using a citation manager, and you can always go to the citation manager and set your settings in such a way that all the DOIs that you give are in a single format, either in a hyperlink format or in a numerical format. So both the as long as the DOI is accessible, both the formats are accepted. So you can give whatever format you want. Any other doubts? Okay then. Okay then. So we will conclude the session for today. Now, like I think it's a very short session compared to all the other weeks. So the next session will be on 6th April, again Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And there we'll be discussing the contents of week number 11. Yeah. Till then, I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.